it's probably the best strategy that I think they use is that they basically make an appeal to triviality, and they say, why do you care about this thing that we're doing? It's not a big deal. And I think that a lot of people don't have the right language to counter that type of an argumentation, because yeah, it's basically who cares. Well, it's like, who cares? Well, you care, you're doing it. But people, like, it's a very good strategy because people don't see it that way. And so that's why they do that.
Back when Ubisoft issued their apology to the Japanese community, Paul Tassi had this to say. Yeah. When the hyper-forced pushback to your game is the not Japanese culture war talking point of you putting a DI samurai in your game, I would not engage with these people at all.
You have to, and this is the thing, is that if there's enough people like this, you have to engage with them. Like, I bet a lot of the people in China that are making Azur Lane think that it's retarded that they won't buy, you know, they won't buy characters that are male characters, and they're going to quit the game over that. But at the end of the day, the customer is never wrong. If the customer decides collectively that they don't want this in a game, then that's it. That's all there is to it. There's not, it doesn't matter like what you think or like how you think it should be or anything like that. You either make a product and you appeal to a market, or you don't. And if there's enough people who don't like something and they make that, like, for example, like, I'm trying to think like a good example of this, like gay inclusion, right? You're not going to just convince the Middle East to be okay with this, because culturally that's not what they like, right? They're not into that. So guess what? If you're making a game for that company or for that place in the world, for that audience, and you put that in the game, you will not sell your game. That's it. It doesn't matter what your values are. It matters what their values are. And there's not an equal footing here. The customer has all the power, and the company only has the power to meet the customer's demand. That's all there is to it. I wouldn't engage these people at all. Yeah, and also they didn't engage with them. They didn't engage with them with Star Wars Outlaws. And I think that's what happened, is that Star Wars Outlaw came out and the game had terrible sales, probably. I mean, they said it, and I think, again, they're downplaying it. It had terrible sales, and so now they see the same thing potentially happening with Assassin's Creed, and they're freaking out. They're worried. Yeah, they're like, oh my god, if we do this again, we're not going to make enough money.
So it also looks like he has a history of dismissing the issues that Japanese people have with AC Shadows. This is, of course, just one more example. I don't want to go through all this guy's tweets, just giving you a little bit more context. It's a truly bizarre thing how many armchair activist types and journalists, etc., are in complete denial about the failures of DEI. In my opinion, DEI is largely something that companies have tried to use for profit motives, attempts to appeal to ESG funds, and things like that.
Well, so whenever, and I think that also, like, you have a really bad feedback loop with DEI stuff. So when a company shifts towards trying to, like, seek DEI funding, the reason why they're probably doing that is because they can't seek funding from another perspective. So, you know, the game can't exist on its own merits, so they add in a type of representation that qualifies them for a certain amount of money. And what that does is it creates a feedback loop where games that are, you know, forcing DEI in order to get certain types of funding will be more often bad, because the reason why they're getting that funding is because they couldn't get other funding, and the reason why they couldn't get other funding is because the game wasn't good to begin with. You see what I'm saying? Like, I understand it's like, that's kind of like a long chain of logic, but I think it very much tracks.
Whenever I see someone defending those sort of practices, to me, they just come off as massive corporate bootlickers. Now, as DEI has been failing and actually been costing these corporations more and more money in many cases, the topic comes up more and more, and we see more people criticizing that stuff, as well as more people like Paul Tassi seemingly attempting to dismiss those criticisms. Another example of this, albeit perhaps to a lesser extent, were some of the takes that he was making during Concord, where he seemed to be in denial of sorts about the game's terrible player count after launch.
It's been two more hours. I've been waiting several hours for Concord players to break 700, and it hasn't. Come on, man. You could do it. You could do it. I'm genuinely wondering if something is glitching. This is the 70th something most sold game on Steam, which isn't good, but like, you would have to imagine there'd be more than this. Like, dude, this was crazy. It's a glitch, man. Like, I remember I had this glitch happen in Overwatch where I downranked from gold to silver, and I still think it was a glitch. I do. Nobody else does, but I think it was a glitch, man.
Just wondering if it was even just a glitch or something.
Yeah.
It's like it's impossible for some people to admit the issues with the character roster. And now practices such as DEI largely contributed to a number of issues.
I knew this wouldn't go well, but it's legitimately weird. Suicide Squad launched with 20x more players. I'm actually wondering if there's something else going on. The timing is weird too. Like, it peaked early afternoon and didn't even add a couple hundred players after work and school in America. I don't get it. I do. How is it that everybody understands this but him? Everybody understands. Like, and this is the thing, right? Is like, if you bury your head in the sand long enough, you think that's the way the world is. But no, people didn't like it. That's why.
Game. Now, I'm not saying that all of the issues with Concord were simply DI related. For example, the price point in the saturated market, sure, these were also contributing factors to Concord's massive failure, but when you see people ignoring the DI related issues as well, it comes off as ignorant or bad faith. And for those that don't know, the person Paul Tassi was talking to in those screenshots, Gene Park, who was also seemingly in denial in their own way, claims to be affiliated with the Washington Post. Anyways, back to the...
I think Gene puts out some pretty decent content. I think I follow him on Twitter. I like him. Yeah, I like Paul too. I just... I really... You gotta come to Jesus with this shit, man. You like Paul? No, I think he's had... The thing is that I might disagree with him on his opinion and like his viewpoint on this stuff, but I think he's had good takes on other games and good takes on other topics. So like, to me, it's like, I don't really think of it like, oh, there's one thing that this person has that's bad. And so like, example, I think his opinion on Seasons with Diablo 4 was really good. And I also liked what he said about, I think was it Destiny 2? I'm trying to remember, give me a second. About Pal World, and like the way that Pal World's player numbers were. So like, that's two examples that I can come up with right off the top of my head. Yeah, sure.
Current news with Ubisoft and Paul Tassi's takes on this stuff going on right now. He added this to his other tweet, saying, Outlaws could have starred a guy who looks like Han Solo, and Shadows could have starred a guy who looks like Jin Sakai, and I do not think it would meaningfully change the fortunes of either of those games.
Who knows?
I think this would be a larger contributing factor to AC Shadows. Star Wars Outlaws has a number of other issues aside from people just not liking the MC. For example, a lot of people said that the gameplay was just boring, especially the stealth segments, which is a large part of the game. And that you didn't feel all that much like an outlaw. Like, you were very limited in the so-called immoral stuff that you could do in the game itself.
Exactly, and I think that's really the problem, is that a lot of times, like, the female protagonist, you know, like, black protagonist is not really the main issue. It's that ideology that causes people to make decisions like that permeates the rest of the game. So, like, for example, with Star Wars Outlaws, how you can't kill the animals, but you can pet them, and you can only steal from police officers. Like, the problem is not, like, that there's that one thing. The problem is that one thing is an indicator for a worldview that the game is developed around, and that worldview creates a very flaccid experience. That's really what it is. It's lack of focus on what's important, right? Yeah, exactly. But, like, that's just one point of an indicator, right? Maybe Disney didn't allow it. I don't know what the reason is for it. All I'm saying is that it's not good.
Of course, there's also been numerous glitches, and these are just a few brief examples of some of the issues that people have with Star Wars Outlaws. But for Paul Tassi to suggest that having an actual Japanese male lead for AC Shadows wouldn't meaningfully change the fortune of the game seems like an absolutely insane thing to say. And once again...
Yeah, again, like, look at Black Myth Wukong, right? The game farmed and, like, you know, respected Chinese culture, and it got 2 million concurrent players. Absolutely, appealing to an audience of people will get you to have those people play the game. It's not even a question. Yeah, China loved it. Yeah, they did, obviously. So 2.5 is a lot.
And it also seems dismissive towards the issues that many people in Japan, many Japanese people, have with the game. It's really odd that Paul Tassi seems to have a recurring theme where he's very dismissive towards the issues that Japanese people have towards AAC Shadows.
I think that the reason why is that a lot of the people that are Japanese that have problems with Assassin's Creed Shadows are living in Wisconsin, and they live in Massachusetts, or they live in Florida, and they have Google Translate, and they say, you know, I'm not Japanese, but I think this is bad. So that's the reason why. But I think in general, a lot of journalists have tried to compartmentalize and act like the concerns that people have over games like this aren't valid and they're not meaningful. And I think that in doing so, they've damaged their own reputations. It's like basically like you can be, you know, behind a burning building and be like, yeah, everything's fine. This is great. And at a certain point, it becomes so obvious what the elephant in the room is that the people that are not talking about it seem delusional.
I think there's other issues that AC Shadows has. I mean, there's clearly other reasons why Ubisoft delayed the game. The probability of them changing Yasuke at this point seems near 0%. So there's probably other things that they're trying to polish, which also falls in line with the other parts of the statement.
Which, by the way, is absolutely necessary. Like, it was, the game was awful. It looked awful. Like, I think that, again, people get focused on, like, oh, wow, Black Samurai, oh, bad, bad, bad. Look at the combat portions of the game. Oh, the floating doors, yes! As I said, guys, it's not, that is not even going to be in the top 10 problems with this game when it comes out.
That they made. Also, as I mentioned yesterday, there's also just a general negative perception and a loss of goodwill that Ubisoft has had. So perhaps they're going to try and spend the next few months trying to recover some goodwill at least before releasing AC Shadows. The point I'm making here is there's other issues going on with AC Shadows besides just Yasuke. But again, Yasuke is certainly a huge factor.
It's the easiest thing that people can say. It's the easiest thing that people can latch onto and be like, wow. Like, it's the same thing. Remember what I said before about how, like, the reason why identity politics is so popular is because it's very easy to go, oh, well, I think that men shouldn't go in the women's bathroom. Well, well, if you're black and, oh, God, but they're white, I'm black, oh, God. And, like, identity politics, well, women should not be able to do this. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But the fact is that that type of thinking is the most... It is the most common. It is the lowest common denominator. And because it's the lowest common denominator, it's going to get the most people. So that's why everything is reduced down to identity politics. It's because identity politics has no barrier to entry of understanding it. Whereas, like, you know, seeing physics in games, understanding, like, are these items from actually this period in the game? You know, like, what about this combat thing? There's, like, more barriers to entry there. It's more accessible. Yeah, like, this literally is face value. And so it's simple. It's easily weaponized, and it's weaponized to the largest mass of people.
All of this leads us to an article that Paul Tassi wrote today for Forbes titled, After Assassin's Creed Shadows Delay, Ubisoft Acknowledges Outlaws Issue, Anti-Woke Pushback. It's funny that he complains about culture war stuff, even when that label is oversimplifying the issues going on, and is also, as I mentioned, rather dismissive towards the issues at large. But then he's also going to simultaneously write an article that's like, oh, it's just anti-woke pushback. Seems like this guy.
Well, even if it is just anti-woke pushback, if there's enough people that are anti-woke, then the games have to be anti-woke. It's just that simple. Like, and this is what I said before about, like, the Chinese, like, gacha players. It doesn't matter, like, what the company thinks the game should have in it. At the end of the day, if you make a game with male characters, they're not going to buy them. So you can talk about and like trying to, like, admonish and, like, punish and, like, talk down to and shame the audience into purchasing something is never going to work. It's not like you can just talk to these people and be like, oh yeah, you need to buy this game. It's bad not to buy this game. They don't have money though. Well, they do. That's why they're going to change it. So that you can't bully an audience into buying a product. It just doesn't work.
Is actually propagating culture war stuff, if anything. The article goes over some of the stuff that we've already covered here in this video and others, so I'm skipping all that. Yeah. And let's check out this section where he writes, then Ubisoft surprisingly tacitly acknowledged the narrative that its games have become too woke or agenda driven, according to a segment of the internet. And posting that statement from Eves where he denies Ubisoft having any specific agenda. He then writes, while Ubisoft already apologized to its Japanese audiences over some questionable promotional materials for Shadows, the pushback was also about the inclusion of Yasuke as one of the two leads, a legendary black samurai, where there was an ensuing debate of whether he was actually a samurai, and a stated idea that it shouldn't be starring him at all. It's pretty funny that despite all of the evidence coming out that Yasuke really wasn't—
Well, I mean, the legendary black, and this is the problem, right? Is like this type of writing, legendary black samurai, I think that, again, like, if you want to be persuasive, it's very hard to read this and to not see that there is a very clear agenda with what's being written. Like, it is. There's just obviously an agenda with this, right? And, like, if I read this, I'm thinking, okay, well, like, is it true or not? So legendary, nobody knows him? I guess so. Yasuke is more fabled than legend? I don't know. I don't really think it matters, right? But at the end of the day, if you want to call the guy a samurai and then base your work off of a person who sources themselves on Wikipedia on an alt account, then I don't think that you should really, like, you shouldn't really ride that horse too hard. People clearly see through this bullshit. Ubisoft stock went down 60%. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is that if you do something like this, there's going to be a negative effect.
Conclusively a samurai, something that Ubisoft themselves has also admitted. Here's Paul Tassi claiming he was not just a samurai, but a legendary one. He goes on to write, there was similar pushback to Kay Vess leading Star Wars Outlaws as a woman, and a not attractive enough woman at that. So he—
Of course. There's people, like, a lot of people that are into Star Wars are guys, and so they want to play a hot chick. Yeah. Duh. I mean, what? Of course. Like, what? Like, what are we talking about? Like, obviously. No shit, of course. What? It's so weird. It's so weird. What are we talking about here?
He's really not going to mention that the main issue here was that Ubisoft made her less attractive. Like, they went out of their way to make Kay Vess less attractive than the actress that she's based on.
I don't even agree with that. I think that the people that made the game are just bad at making games and bad at their job. Everything about this game was bad, and I don't think that this was an outcome of malice, and it was just pure incompetence. I don't. I just think
that's
the game's
very bizarre and certainly worth pointing out. But hey, Paul Tassi ain't going to mention that part here. He then says, no historical accuracy complaints there, as it was pretty straightforward woke/DI talking points there. Yeah. But it is surprising to see Ubisoft entertain this at all. There's another—
Well, it's not that they're entertaining this. It's that, and this is the problem, right, is that Ubisoft entertaining this is a misunderstanding of the power structure that companies exist inside of. Companies do not exist as a tool to spread an agenda. Companies exist as a tool to capitalize on culture and to make things that enhance the culture. So the idea that Ubisoft is like, giving this attention or like entertaining this, as he says, Ubisoft's job is to entertain people. They're an entertainment company. So if they're entertaining what people want to see, then they're going to make money. And if they're not, then they don't make money. It's that simple. And I think that also, like, it's, again, the problem where I think that people are so entrenched in their ideological positions that they think that everybody else thinks like they do, and that the entire, like, world revolves around this. Most people don't think like this. They don't worry about this. They just see it. They see some comments. They say the game looks bad, and then that's it.
Another
Bottom line's
article
all
I
matters,
found that has very odd coverage, to say the least, regarding all this Ubisoft stuff. This one from fastcompany.com. The author Chris Morris writing, "Video game maker Ubisoft in chaos after anti-DEI backlash."
I didn't even see this.
The Assassin's Creed game maker delayed its biggest launch of the year, reduced forecasts, and is facing calls to sell in what is being called an incel victory.
What, bro? This is the reason why people hate journalism. What is being called an incel victory? What is being called? Being called by who? Who decided it's being called this? Did you decide this? Are you calling it this? By 3 people on Twitter with a like that has 7 likes? Oh, wow. Oh, man. What, an incel look like this? Yes. Aren't you king of the incels? I've heard that before. What a bunch of pussies. It's nuts, man.
Okay, first of all, I haven't seen anyone say incel victory anywhere. Seems like this guy just made that up. And once again, I'll point out how these sort of people come off as such bigots, man. Dismissing the issues that Japanese people have with this game. Very reasonable and understandable issues. And then saying this is like an incel victory? Seriously?
Well, to be fair, like, and this is the problem, is that incel, alt-right, racist, DEI, anti-woke, all of this is just put together in one bucket, right? Where there's a lot of people that aren't incels that don't like this, and there's some people that are incels that do like it. So they're just buzzwords, right? Yeah, they're just buzzwords. It's basically like, you know, like word diarrhea. They use the straw man argument always. Exactly.
These virtue signaler types are so hypocritical. And they're also just weird. I mean, who even talks like that? Oh, it's an incel victory. Like, either this guy made that up.
I would say something like that. Absolutely. I say stupid shit like that all the time. And I definitely think that there are a lot of incels that do think that it's a victory. But to title the article in incel, that's crazy.
Or this must be some, like, termly online Redditor talk here or something. Moving on. Because, spoiler alert, it's as bad in the article itself, or arguably even worse. He pulls out the classic, oh, the backlash is just from the far right. My gosh, these people are boring with their rhetoric, saying the same.
Well, the thing is that if there's enough people that are on the far right, then it matters. That's the truth. It's literally that simple. And that's what I said before, is like, if you get enough people together, you can do anything that you want. And if you try to relegate this viewpoint and like pretend like it's only a small subset of people, but it's actually not, then you're not going to have a lot of sales for your game. So that's it. It doesn't matter. Like, and I think that, again, you could only act like this isn't a small group. This is a small group of people. You could only do that long enough until eventually people ask, you know, well, if it's so few people, then why are there so many people not buying our game?
Nonsense for years and years and years, and they wonder why people don't listen to them anymore. Check it out. Right here he says, the bookings shortfall was technically due to the delay and disappointing sales of Star Wars Outlaws. However, the underlying reason for both of those, at least in part, is the far-right opposition to diversity and inclusion.
If they're right, if that's true, then the company has 2 options. You either meet that demand or you go out of business. That's it. Those are the 2 options. So if you think this is true, because like the company isn't going to be able to like psyop people into buying this. They're not going to be able to like, you know, mind control people into buying this. It's just shifting blame. Yeah, that again, just because you think the market is immoral does not make the market change.
Oh my gosh, what a joke. Yeah, diversity and inclusion, something that corporations love to gaslight people about. Oh, hey, we really care about this stuff. Not really. We just want money. But hey, if you criticize these corporations...
Yeah, Outlaws, which has received had a female lead character, received mostly solid reviews from professional critics. But many players gave it a 0 rating out of 10 on Metacritic, citing forced DEI narratives and claiming developers spent more time on woke culture than the story and gameplay. Well, then it's got a 0. That's it. It's crazy how how people like this can be at such odds with reality. That's what's so astonishing to me about this. It's like they're completely against reality. Like they can't even see what's clearly in front of them. They're writing themselves into a different reality. Yeah, exactly. Like professional critics gave it a good review. Well, if professional critics keep giving it good reviews and these reviews aren't resonating with an audience, maybe you shouldn't be a professional critic.
You're apparently far right for criticizing corruption in corporations. He goes on to say, Outlaws, which has a female lead character, received mostly solid reviews from professional critics. Oh, professional critics. But many players gave it a 0 rating out of 10 on Metacritic, citing quote-unquote forced DI narratives, and claiming the developers, quote, spent more time on the woke culture than on the story and gameplay, unquote. Some players were also unhappy with the optional Season Pass model that tacked an additional $40 onto the game's price for extra missions.
True.
The review bombing, driven by anti-DI backlash, seemingly worked and set off a chain of events.
Yep, that's right. Of course it worked. You know why? Because there was enough people to do it. You get enough people together, you can do anything you want. Absolutely. Yep.
That led to Wednesday's announcement. I forgot to mention this. In the intro of the article, he says, Ubisoft abruptly canceled its appearance at the Tokyo Game Show and postponed all press previews of the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows. Wednesday, we learned why. Anti-DI backlash has sent the company spinning. So for one, as funny as that is, there's also a lot more going on with Ubisoft than the anti-DI stuff. Like, for example, they've been mismanaged heavily for years. But leave it up to this so-called journalist veteran to not...
Isn't it funny how there's clearly a lot of people with these views, but he just dismisses them as if their view is meaningless? The reason why they do that is that they think that if you don't talk about it for long enough, that it will cause people to just move past it or not think about it. That's what they try to do. Yeah, like they're like, okay, well, let's pretend like this doesn't exist, and that way we don't give it more power. Yeah, they're hoping like, yeah, let's marginalize and pretend like this doesn't exist, and then maybe it will go away. There's something to be said about critics giving favorable reviews, not because the character's a woman, but a lot of negative reviews do focus on her being a woman. No. Well, no, that's not really true, because a critic exists to inform an audience, and if a critic's information isn't resonating with an audience, then a critic's purpose is invalid. So if a person is reviewing things and the reviews are not serving a purpose to the customer, then the review has no reason to exist. There's no, like, basically it's the chicken and the egg thing, but it's actually not. It's the egg is first, and then the egg turns into the chicken. The egg is the consumer, not the fucking reviewer. The consumer creates the desire for the review. The review does not create the desire for the consumer. People got it all fucked up. They don't understand what their goal is. They don't understand what their purpose is.
Acknowledge that, and to try and smear all of the Ubisoft critics as a bunch of far-right incels as he seemingly attempts to defend this massive corrupt corporation. And that's about all that I have to say on this topic. Just
It's
truly
funny.
bizarre stuff from these journalists.
Yeah.
However, I suppose that's to be expected in this day and age, and part of why they're now such a disgraced profession. Let me know what you think about all of this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you so much for tuning in, and if you enjoyed my coverage, consider liking and or subscribing to the channel for more, and I'll see you in the next one.
Well, give me 1 second.
As you probably know,
I think this is so fucking funny. I'm gonna be honest. I think this is fucking hilarious. Because again, like, it's a narrative that, would you admit that people are hyper-fixated on finding agendas over actual gameplay experiences? They are. People are hyper-fixated on it. And I think that the reason why they're hyper-fixated on it is because the fact that those agendas exist in the game makes them feel like the game is taking advantage of them and isn't representing them in a proper way that they feel like is respectful. So, like, whether you... And this is the problem... is that, like, you're making a value judgment on whether this person should be allowed to have this opinion or not, or whether this opinion is justifiable. And that is not the right opinion to have when you're trying to sell a product to a market. Like, and this is true with streaming, too. You can think that you had the best stream ever. You can think that you make the best videos ever. But if those videos don't resonate with an audience, you're not going to make any money. That's all there is to it. And so you have people that are so focused on the good or bad of what they're seeing or what they're doing that they're not thinking about the reality of what is or is not. It's not about what should or shouldn't be. It's about what is and isn't. And I think that a lot of these people don't understand that. And they think that they have like an ability to control what other people think, which is not what happens. They still have their jobs in journalism, so they're still making money. Yeah, but they're making a lot less money than they would have made 10 years ago proportionally, because they're just not monetizing in the same way. Scholarly Court. Yeah, and so that's the reason why, is that like you might think that that review is invalid, and you might think, hey, I think this is stupid that they care so much about this gender issue when there's other issues in the game that are more important. And if you have this viewpoint, I think you're totally justified in thinking that. But the problem is that that viewpoint does not invalidate that other person's viewpoint. And at the end of the day, he has the same vote that you do. So if he chooses not to buy the game, then that means, like, it doesn't matter what the reason is behind it. The only thing that matters is whether it happened. So a lot of people, like, again, they're trying to like base their decision off of like justifying this. Well, there is no justification for it. It's not people like, because you're asking people to justify their reviews, and asking a person to justify their review presupposes that they are accountable to you. It presupposes that you have to justify why you gave your review to me. And the truth is that they don't have to do that. They're not accountable to you. They can have whatever opinion they want, and that's it. It's that simple. And I'll link you guys the video. It's a good one. Give it a like. People have wanted me to watch this for a while. Apparently, there's been some Ubisoft devs that have talked behind the scenes about how things are going, and it doesn't seem like it's very good.
Things at Ubisoft are far worse than I ever could have imagined. After my last video chronicling the rise and fall of Ubisoft, I had both current and former Ubisoft developers reach out for comment.
Of course they did.
Today,
They have to unban me, right? They have to unban. Oh, they have to unban me. Oh, they gotta unban me. Oh, man. Come on, bro. Kick is gonna unban. I think they probably eventually unban him.
Jack Doherty, one of the least likable streamers out there, gave the world another reason to dislike him this past weekend as he decided to live stream and interact with chat while driving with a friend in the car while it was raining, as he was speeding and looking right down on his phone. And he absolutely knew what he was doing, because just a minute before he crashed, he said this.
Literally, guys, you can't see. I'm most likely going to crash this car. No, I'm kidding. Hopefully.
He wasn't kidding. Guys, like, he planned it. Yeah, no, he said, yeah. How do you say? Wow.
Not.
So yeah, naturally he spun out, then gave us the wildest show of how little he cares about the people surrounding him, because the only thing that was important for him was, we have to make sure we get all of this on film. And then obviously,
and the thing is, like, I love how he goes and he says, well, you haven't driven a McLaren, so you don't know about it. Like, I have driven performance cars before. That's why I know that you're an idiot. You should have never accelerated like that. And it's not about the car entirely. It's about the wheels. Like, you go ask XQC, go ask Train. Let's see, who else? Miz has a high performance car. Like, go ask anybody who's got, like, any fucking money. They would tell you the same fucking thing.
The McLaren, meanwhile, he gave his friend, who he seriously hurt, the camera to film everything while blood was gushing out of his face. Extremely normal influencer behavior. That was sarcasm, because for even some of the worst streamers, that's a massive stretch. I mean, this stream was just so much of a narcissistic disaster. One would think it would be like a phenomenal parody of how these recent IRL streamers act, except
he's right about that. Like, this definitely could have been like a Black Mirror version of like streaming. Like, this one was pretty bad.
This is just reality, and this is exactly how they act. So now he's dropped a YouTube video in response to this crash, and we get to see the footage he was focused on filming, even though the first responder...
He didn't even get 200k views on that shit? That's bad. That's real bad. How do you not even get 200k views on that? Come on, bro. Like...
just told him, hey, can you stop filming so we can actually check on your friend to make sure he's okay? Because here he gave this baffling response when they asked that.
Hey, listen, man, I just crashed my car. I lost 200 grand. I need to make my money back somehow. Sorry.
It's unbelievable how much this guy sucks. This is the most self-inflicted situation ever that everyone else around him now has to clean up.
I gotta make my money back.
So useless. He couldn't even call himself a tow truck because he was more busy having himself filmed that he was in a car crash.
Wait, what?
Call your own. Can you help me?
So let's see the footage that was more important for him to get.
Call your own. Can you help me?
So let's see the
What the? What?
footage that was more important for him to get than for him to actually take proper care of his friend.
I don't know how to feel right now.
Can you help me?
I'm sad, bro. I'm so sad right now. Sadness can't express how sad I actually am. At least my Richard Mills still okay. Just kidding.
He's not kidding. Meanwhile, his friend is standing there behind him with blood gushing.
Let me see that. Let me see that watch again.
Sad I actually am. At least my Richard.
I'm gonna be real. This looks like a watch you get from Nickelodeon. This is like you go and you get a like the Wild Thornberrys action figures, and like it has this watch in the box. You get it out of a Kinder Egg.
Mills still okay. Just kidding.
I'm gonna just look.
He's not kidding. Meanwhile, his friend is standing there behind him with blood gushing out of his head.
Yeah.
And he's like, at least my Richard Mill is okay.
I don't even know what that is.
This guy has the personality of soggy bread, so the only thing he can cling to is his material possessions.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro.
Oh, wow. Damn, that doesn't look... Wow, that really doesn't look so good, huh? Ooh. Ooh, that's real bad. That's real. Oh.
I did not think this was going to be happening today.
Me neither. God, so bad.
All right, guys, my McLaren is totaled. It was a couple days before my 21st birthday.
Man, better donate.
Oh no, my own stupidity just ruined the vibes. It seems like this is the first time he actually realizes actions have consequences. Because remember the time when he flipped the golf cart with his girlfriend in it and put her in the hospital? That was funny to him.
What? No? I don't remember that. When did that happen?
Because it didn't really affect him, as he didn't own the golf cart and he wasn't the one who got hurt.
Yeah.
But now it's finally clicking with him. Oh,
it's his car.
Stupid actions lead to stupid consequences. Wow. Also, shout out McLaren for saving their lives here, because I said this in my last video, but this crash could have been so much worse. If the front of the car didn't completely disintegrate and absorb the impact, their bodies would have had to take that impact. And if
it's
that
actually crazy. The fact that, like, the only reason, by the way, that the other dude got fucked up is because he was holding the camera and the camera hit his face. Actually insane safety. Crazy safety.
They likely wouldn't have been walking away from this.
You hit your head hard, bro. I just remember, like, after it, just panicking. Both the windows breaking.
I know the smoke was...
Dude, that guy...
Did you see me kick out the window?
Who?
Did you see me kick out the window?
That was you?
Yeah.
Dude, then someone, I think, ripped the other window out. I was, like, trying to figure out how to do it. You were, like, banging your elbow on it.
I know, I punched it.
Dude, you were going crazy. W. Michael David. But, like, that was so scary. It smoked up so fast. Like,
Yeah, same thing happened. Yeah, I've been asking how that happened.
If I had a full tank of gas, like, we would have been exploded.
I don't even know.
Because my tank was empty. Like, it literally was at, like, 20 miles left. And then also, on top of that, we crashed, like, 42 miles per hour.
I know, we weren't even going fast.
At all.
I mean, the last clip we saw, the speedometer was
71.
this. And also notice how he's looking at the chat on his phone and not the road.
No! No! No!
So I don't know why he's like trying to gaslight the story when he streamed the whole story himself. He is his own worst enemy here. He broadcasted everything. And then now he's trying to repaint the story. And as we know, he sped up after we last saw the
71 in the rain?
Obviously,
Yeah.
hydroplaning and sliding sideways slows you down. But if he was driving 42, he wouldn't have spun out and crossed 4 lanes of traffic like that.
We hydroplaned. Dude, we could have went off that cliff down the whole thing. We would have been dead. Holy. There was a cliff right there. Oh my god.
Oh my
We're happy to be
god.
alive, you know?
Is that a new car?
She's turning away. She didn't want to look. We left in 2 cars. We left here in 2 cars like 6 hours ago, and now we're back in 1 car. It's your mom. Now your mom's crying.
Yo, he's so crazy for that. No way, dog. Reckless endangerment for content. Yo, that's wild. Yo, he's wild. He's crazy. This guy's cray-cray.
You are lucky. You are alive, Jack. I don't want to go on your funeral, Jackie. Please, please, take this seriously. No marijuana when you're driving.
I didn't.
Phone. What happened? Tell me.
Mom, it was just wet. We hydroplaned, Mom. Like I
He
couldn't do
lying to his mom on the camera. He lying to her right there.
anything about it.
At least admit that you were being an idiot on your phone to your own mother. She's going to find out either way.
Yeah.
Because this guy documents everything. Again, his hunger for clout on the internet is his own worst nightmare. Because he streamed himself committing a crime. If his...
I remember one of the times we got in an accident, I called Dylan and I was like, Dylan, we can't meet you at Arby's. We got in a wreck. The car's totaled. He said, is anybody dead? And I'm like, no. He's like, all right, cool. Well, I'll talk to you later. And that was it. And I told my mom about it. She says, oh, wow, damn. Like, was anybody drunk? And I'm like, no. She's like, damn, how'd you mess that up then? And that was about it.
Friend realizes that he isn't actually his friend.
Yeah.
This is a grand slam lawsuit for him right here. And that's also the perfect stream for his insurance company because, you know, their goal is to not pay. Then on top of that, there could easily be criminal charges here as what he did was clearly reckless endangerment, which could be up to 1 year in jail in Florida. He's also a high profile, extremely disliked person doing this. So he also is, I guess, the perfect target for Florida to make an example of. Because let's be real here, the state of Florida does not want people to be acting like this on their roads.
Nobody
but
does.
Of course, he doesn't understand why people have a problem with his behavior.
So much going on, like no one understands. Everyone's so quick to.
Nobody understands. Nobody understands this. How could you possibly understand what he's going through?
On me on social media. No one's gone through what I gone through just now. Like I literally almost died in a
That's
car
right.
accident.
Nobody's ever had this happen.
Like I literally almost died in these cars too. At least I still got 2 Lambos. No, I'm kidding.
Again, he's not kidding.
He's such a retard. It's so funny. I'm sorry. He's such an idiot. I think this is so funny.
No one's laughing. That's all he has. And no, plenty of people have gone through exactly what we've gone through here and caused accidents because they were morons. That's why.
Yeah. There's plenty of morons that get in wrecks because they're on their phone. Yeah, it's happened. What do you mean nobody's ever gone through this? It happens all the time.
Reckless endangerment is a charge.
Don't eat this on the way.
Motion. I can do it again.
Everything in life is for the reason, Jack.
Where's
Take
Michael
some
David?
notes. Where's Michael? I'm gonna go the other Michael.
I'm ready to start going again. Give me my keys. I realized I still got my McLaren key, so I still have all my keys. Let me take a pic with all my keys real quick. So people still think I have a McLaren.
This guy.
They gotta take this kid's license away, man, before somebody gets killed. Oh my God. They gotta make sure he don't have that license. By somebody about to die. Yeah, he gonna kill somebody? I know. It's crazy. Like, because in my opinion, as a firefighter, retards like him keep me employed. Hey. There it is.
I might actually have the lowest EQ that I've ever seen out of any social media influencer because he just somehow manages to say exactly the things that would make any person shed their skin with cringe.
Yeah.
It's like he's deliberately trying to be unbearable.
Oh, I'm just happy to be alive, guys. I literally was crying on the way home. Like, if we didn't hit the guardrail head on, one of us would have been just crushed. Like, that would have been so bad.
Ooh.
But I'm glad that me and Michael are both okay. That's a huge lesson. No more driving cars like this in the rain. No more, I don't even know, bro. Like, I wasn't even going.
No more being on the phone. Like, I mean, because maybe that's really why does he like not want to say that he was? Because like it was obvious. Because I mean, because it's on the phone. Like as I said, I think that he would have had the same accident even if he wasn't on the phone. But like,
It's just the crazy part. It's just like, can't drive those cars in the rain.
No, you just can't floor a high-powered rear-wheel drive car in the rain while not looking at the road with one hand on the wheel.
Right.
Then when you hydroplane, you jam the brakes.
Oh,
that is 100% a skill issue. And I don't even think he understands what he's even driving. He's just buying supercars because it's a flex and they go fast.
Yeah,
and
they go
I
real
also
fast.
don't think he realizes it yet, but he just lived through the Dunning-Kruger effect. Because this dude literally said in his last video that he thought he was the best driver in the world.
I'm not driving
no, he didn't.
in the rain anymore. I thought I was the best driver in the world. Clearly, I'm not.
Well, that's your problem right there. Yeah, that's what happens when you drive supercars in good conditions. They are engineered to give you so much confidence while driving until the conditions aren't good and you total your car. Like if his first car was an old school Shelby Cobra, he wouldn't be here today. Because I mean, there's a reason Mustangs seem to be heat-seeking missiles.
They used to have those. I remember I had one of those in Age of Empires too.
For crowds, and they're a lot easier to drive than those Shelbys. Now, obviously, I might have set myself up for a cell phone if I crash a car now, but hey, if I'm being a dumbass and I end up doing so, that's on me for being a complete dumbass.
Right.
But the goal here is to never act like that. But I digress. To end my rant, I'm just gonna say I think the prefrontal cortex patch for Jack at 25 is gonna do wonders for him. But next, he addresses his kick ban and
I'm not sure he really gonna get. You think he's gonna be able to make this 5? Maybe he said he's almost 21, so maybe 4 more years. He gonna last 4 more years? I mean, that's hard. I don't know if he's gonna be around that long. I mean,
complete denial.
Jack, I promise you have a night.
Idiot.
I promise I will be soon in your home. You have to take care of yourself. What happened with the live stream? You got kicked?
You got banned.
Why?
It's suspended. I'm fine.
So how are you gonna do your property?
I will. I'll get on ban.
he's gonna get on ban.
Fine.
Yeah,
I
don't think so, but Kick in recent times have actually been following through with their permanent bans. Like Johnny Smalley, he's been begging for months to get his account back.
Me. I'm a
but he's
changed
still
man.
Permanently banned. Kick would look extremely weak and unserious if they unban him.
That's
so
right.
Jack is in complete denial, as again, he's never had real consequences before.
You okay? Are you sure? Where you got the stitches?
Like there. Yeah.
That's nothing.
It's a little wicked.
It's not a big deal.
We're live though.
You okay?
We are alive. Michael, how's it feel? How you feel?
Kind of. But
Yeah.
no harm to play here.
That's fine. At least we're okay. Like, literally, put it in perspective, like, we could have both been dead right now.
Yeah.
That's, like, the crazy, sad part.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy. My reckless behavior could have ended your life.
That's crazy.
That's sad.
Wow.
It's so hard to take this guy serious.
All right, guys, I just totaled my McLaren. It is completely cooked right now. I don't know what to do.
I
Like,
love
all
how
the
he
parts are
automatically
right
starts
here.
recording.
I got my Tesla picking me up. This is the worst day of my life.
So far.
Damn.
Well, it's safe
So
to say
far.
his Kick streaming career is in the same condition as his McLaren. But speaking
Ooh.
of scary things, we just dropped an exclusive Halloween limited edition.
Man.
We just dropped an exclusive
Imagine this
Halloween
guy at
limited
50.
edition collection over at Matt City. Hey,
I'm gonna
maybe
be
Jack
real.
could practice with some toy cars on this bad boy. Or who knows? Maybe you need something to spice up your male living space.
Oh, wow.
Or have some kids to enjoy something that's a little more unique and not a generic Amazon knockoff. And we also have major American cities, and we'll be
These
dropping
actual
many more
maps?
soon. So you
These
can check
real?
out us at matt.city, which will be in the top of the link in the description down below. But hey, if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. And other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
That's really fucking funny. I'll link you guys the video. Give it a like.
Jack Doherty, one of the-
This is so fucking funny. So he's on TikTok live trying to beg for money, thinking that he's gonna get unbanned on Kick. You know what would be really, really funny is if he gets sent to jail for like reckless driving, and the day he goes to jail, Kick unbans his account, and then the day he gets out of jail, Kick rebans his account. Must be really dumb to get banned from Kick. You gotta be like a serious professional idiot. Yesterday, we had a guy that released a video, and he wanted me to watch it on my stream. I did watch the first part. People really liked it a lot. And so we're now going to watch the second part. Here we go. Let's take a look at Bro's at 7K subs. Oh my god. He had 200 yesterday. Oh, wow. Yeah, he had like 232 or something. Wow. Oh, great. Well, good for him. Deserves it.
Hey, everyone. Before we dive into part 2, I just want to give a massive thank you for all the love.
Now, a guy yesterday came into my... Parents sue their 30-year-old deadbeat son. For some reason, this got recommended to me. I don't know why.
The 30-year-old deadbeat son has finally moved out of his parents' house.
These parents are kicking their son out of their home.
Man.
That's just so ridiculous.
Mark and Christina Rotondo took the unusual step of suing their own son, Michael Rotondo, to have him evicted from their home in New York.
I just need enough time. I don't need very much.
Yeah. You keep saying that, but you've had 8 years.
Michael, who was 30 years old at the time, had been living with his parents for several years and had refused to leave despite their numerous requests.
Right.
My parents stopped feeding me in like December, so I've been...
Maybe if you stop feeding him, he'll go away.
Buying my own food, preparing my own food for a long time.
His parents say he's a freeloader who never offered to pay rent or do chores.
They claim that they have provided him with financial support, including room and board.
Wait, watch this.
They claim that they have...
It's not even... Look, he's just getting the water everywhere. Why is he wearing a suit? Oh, no, he's in court.
Provided him with financial support, including room and board.
They said you need to get a job, you need health insurance. I've been trying to make it so that I can get out of here.
But that he had not contributed to household expenses or shown any initiative to move out and become self-sufficient.
Right.
I am a millennial.
Yes.
Michael.
Thanks.
After repeated attempts to get him to leave, Mark and Christina Rotondo resorted to legal action.
Why couldn't you guys resolve this without the court?
I was just out,
But the judge issued the eviction order, giving Michael a specific date to move out.
I don't see why the judge wants to throw people out on the street.
So
Michael,
ridiculous.
who represented himself in court, argued...
Really, he did? This is so stupid.
that he needed more time to find a place to live and transition into adulthood.
I'm granting the eviction because I'm concerned.
He's 30 though.
About what's going on in this household. So I don't want you around that household.
Media outlets covered his eviction, and it became a widely watched event as he packed his belongings and left his parents' home for the last time.
No! After loading the truck, Rotondo's car wouldn't start. He needed a jump.
Did you ever?
Of course. Of course he does. Yeah, he sure does.
You think this day was to get here?
Yeah.
So how you feel?
Great.
Wow.
Where are you headed?
Off to an Airbnb.
The case was
An
so unusual
Airbnb.
in that it pitted parents against their own child in a court of law.
Oh my
the Rotondo
God.
family saga unveiled revelations that came to light during the legal proceedings.
This is
and media
insane.
coverage.
He's a very smart kid. He kind of kept to himself.
Court documents showed that Michael had a child of his own but was not in contact with the child's mother. It was
This is unbelievable. Wow.
revealed that Mark and Christina...
Yeah, this guy has a girlfriend. Had a girlfriend. Bro, he hooked up with somebody. Yep. Think about that, guys. Wow.
Rotondo had made several attempts to help their son find a job, obtain his own place, and achieve financial independence.
He could be dealing with social anxiety or very severe depression, and maybe he's just not feeling motivated to do anything.
They offered him money to move out, even going so far as to provide him with $1,100 as a parting gift.
They wanted to
I really
just pay him to
wish
leave.
peace for Mike and his family, and I hope that whatever problems he has get addressed and solved, and I hope that he's able to move forward with his life.
I'm sure that's what's gonna happen for sure. Yeah, he's gonna move on, and everything's gonna be fine. Oh my God. There's another one. He talked this. Wait, this was on CNN.
8 years of free room and board is long enough. That is the feeling of an upstate New York couple who's been trying to kick their 30-year-old son, Michael Rotondo, out of their house. As incentive, they gave him money to get started. They even sent him several letters to vacate, but the son says he was not given enough notice. Michael has a young son himself who he lost custody of within the last year.
What a surprise.
And now these parents have actually gone to the courts, and the verdict is that the judge evicted him.
Good.
I had a chance to speak with Michael moments ago. Here's our conversation.
Oh no.
Michael?
I cannot believe this went on CNN. And you know why? It's because, like, if this guy is the stereotype. He's that guy.
Welcome.
Hi.
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 Hi. So let me start with you're 30.
Oh no.
Right.
The simplest question: do you not want to find your own place?
No.
He doesn't.
Why not?
I don't want to live there anymore.
You don't want to live with your parents?
I don't like living with... No.
He doesn't want to live... Okay.
It's not... It's very tense. It's very awkward. It's... We have to... we have to share space, which, may be the case with where I would find myself afterwards. But I'd prefer to get out.
Okay, so on the preferring to get out, let's rewind for a second, because it's my understanding you've lived, at your parents' house, rent-free for 8 years, and I know you do your own laundry, you buy your own food, but they asked you 5 times, please move out. Why couldn't you guys resolve this without the court?
I would consider much of what they were doing to try to get me out as a tax. And
Of course. He's being attacked. No, not a tax, like, like a paying your taxes. I think it's like an ATAC. Like attack power.
And what I was trying to, I was just, trying to preserve, trying to do what's best for me, which is just, let's try to be a little more reasonable. I'll
do
leave.
what's best for me.
I don't like living
True.
here. But I need, I need reasonable time. And as an example of this, the first notice that I received, the February 2nd notice, was basically...
I could see why they wanted him out. Oh my God.
Basically, you have 14 days before you're outside in the winter weather.
Ooh.
So the first thing I did when I got that was I made sure that wasn't going to happen. I contacted the police department. I said, is this something that's, this could happen? And they're like, no, you just call us. That they can't do that. And I said, all right. And I was like, all right. And
I'm listening to you. I really am, but let me just understand.
I'm sure she is.
I hear you on your parents giving you notices. The fact that you were on national television talking about moving out of your parents' house. You tell me you want to move out of your parents' house.
This is a personal 9/11 for every Discord moderator in the United States.
Why don't you just move out of your parents' house? Like,
this is bad.
Tomorrow.
Well,
I don't have the means to do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
it's going to be.
Do you have a job?
Do you have a job?
No.
Are you trying to get a job? Because I read that one of the things your parents asked of you, there are jobs available even for those with a poor work history like you. Get one, you have to work. Are you working on
that? I have plans to be able to provide myself with the income I need to support myself. But it's not something that's going to come together tomorrow. So I'm trying to do what's best for me.
Yeah,
and,
I'm just trying to look.
You know, I do want to leave, and I want to leave as soon as possible. But you know, it's not tomorrow.
Concepts and plan.
I don't think it should have to be tomorrow. And
this guy, you know where he needs to go? He needs to go to TikTok Live. So, yeah, that's where he needs to go.
Well, you want it to be tomorrow. It just isn't tomorrow because you don't have the means yet to make it tomorrow. Here's the next thing.
Right.
I mean, do you? You know, a lot of us have lived with our parents maybe a little bit longer than we wish we could. Please take a sip of your water. Do you not want privacy, Michael? I mean, do you not want relationships, boyfriend, girlfriend, friendships, space, not shared walls with mom and dad?
I do want those things.
Yeah. So your parents took you to court, though.
That's the. Yeah, I do. Oh my God.
You out of their home.
This is amazing.
And you sat there and you represented yourself and you argued that you should have more time. I know that you wanted the 6 months, and I've heard you say, ironically, by the time maybe you'll leave, it will be that 6 months. The court didn't side in your favor. Will you fight the court? Will you fight your parents on this?
Well,
I'm going to send a letter that I've already prepared to my parents' attorney that says if you send an order to the court, it's a proposed order that is for 3.
Somebody call Asian Andy and scuff Jim Carrey. Yeah, bro, like, you gotta send him in. Get rid of this guy. It's incredible how shamelessly he goes on national television and tells everyone that he's a bum. Well, it's like, the reason why is that, like, there are so many people that are like this, and they've completely rationalized every annoying thing that they do, and it's always somebody else's fault.
3 months. There's a possibility the court won't accept that, although I don't think that makes any sense. I'm not a lawyer, I don't really know, but I guess the court can just can deny any proposed order that they like.
It's a done deal if SJC comes. Yeah, true.
I'm saying to the attorney, if you put this proposed order for 3 months in, or a proposed order for 3 months in, I won't fight anymore for the case. And the ironic thing is that if they had sent me the 6 month notice to quit in February, it would have cost them $0 in legal expenses.
So now they're the ones that are stupid, that are wasting money, and he's actually the reasonable one. I love this guy. He is 100% a Discord moderator. Like, I guaranteed. It's not even a question. That's why he gets no pussy? No. He has a kid, man.
So, okay. Legal expenses aside and time spent in court, I'm sure you're irked. I'm sure your parents are irked.
No,
but,
he does.
You only have one mom and dad. And I understand that you are probably more upset than even you're letting on, but don't you want to reconcile with them?
No. No, I don't.
No.
Are you aware of the component regarding my son and about how I lost my visitation? Yeah. So right
there
after
it is.
that, they're like, well, we want you to start doing. Don't worry about your case, which was that's a full-time job doing setting up an appeal.
Yeah, see, he doesn't have time to get a job. He already has a job dealing with his case that's involving him being able to stay at his parents' house. He's already got a job.
For an order like that, for custody and visitation, what you need to do right now is get a full-time job and get health insurance, or we're going to throw you out.
Yeah.
And it was devastating to lose my son, and I was just it really.
Okay.
I was done with them. I was done with them after that. I was done with them after that point.
My heart goes out to you on the custody.
New York man has lived with his parents for 8 years. And so they've been dealing with him for 8 years doing this? I hate this guy so much. If you're getting mad at what somebody on the computer screen is doing, get off the computer screen. Go outside, you fucking retard. What the hell's wrong with you? Get off the fucking computer, idiot. Stop it. Stop.
The issue.
Dumbass.
The last piece of this, though, Michael, and this is really my last question. There are a lot of people who have read about your story, and the thought bubble is, what is up with this millennial generation that you guys seem so entitled? What would you say to those critics?
I would say that I'm really not a member of that demographic that they're speaking to, of that group. I'm a very conservative person. The millennials that they're speaking to are very liberal in their...
So he's saying that, let's get this straight. So he's conservative, so he can't be a millennial because all the millennials are liberals and lazy, but since he's... This is incredible. Wow.
Ideology.
What do you guys think the odds are that he's in the chat right now?
But you're 30, so technically I think you are part of the millennial generation. I don't think there's a delineation between...
You're right.
Yeah,
but
100%.
When people speak to the millennials and their general nature as a millennial, they speak to more liberal leanings.
Right, and he's not a millennial because he's conservative. That's there you go.
In my opinion, do you disagree?
I don't think it's for me to disagree. I think a millennial is a millennial is a millennial based upon the year that you were born. Okay. But I think it's totally your opinion to say, that doesn't apply to me.
Doesn't even make sense.
And with that, Michael Rotundo, I appreciate you coming on. I truly wish you the best of luck. And
I am a millennial.
Yes, Michael.
Right.
Thanks.
Welcome.
So that was one of the more surreal interviews.
I love this guy. Somebody needs to get this guy a TikTok. They need to get this guy on social media right away. Oh my God. She doesn't even know what to say.
We've taken part of here in the last little while, but I genuinely wish him and his parents luck.
Right.
Let's move on.
Wow. Oh my. Deadbeat son. Wait. What? Who is this guy?
The first thing I thought when my story became national news was, crap. I just need enough time. I don't need very much.
You keep saying that, but you've had 8 years.
How does this happen?
Syracuse has decided
How did this happen? This is amazing.
For Michael Rotundo to move out of his parents' New York home.
I was evicted from my parents' home as a 30-year-old, and
he's winning
international news.
Where are you headed?
Off to an Airbnb. This is just life now. It's just, you gotta clean these dishes, so you just clean them. Since I left
Why is he cleaning the dishes in the bathroom sink?
My parents' house has been a little chaotic. I've been sleeping at Airbnbs. How I got this Airbnb was...
Yeah?
I show up and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm looking for a cheap place to stay.
I just
for a
randomly
while.
show up.
Oh, if you haven't put up my fence, you can stay here for nothing. So.
Mike dug all these holes for me. He's gonna
Wait. So he just goes to random people's houses. Wait, is this actually an Airbnb? I don't think that's not how Airbnb works. He's just going around randomly. Can I live here if I dig a hole in your backyard? And this woman's like, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Finally.
do some work.
Oh my god.
And
Wait.
he has a for me. He's gonna do some work.
I gotta see this. How? How do you do this? Like, this is amazing.
And he has a place to stay for a little while.
You're comfortable doing this stuff in exchange to stay here?
Yeah.
I just... Oh my god. And here's the thing, it works out really well. This guy is in 2024, whatever year this was, and he's living in the year 1100. He comes into a village, he's like, any work? And then people just put him up. And he just goes and does fucking menial tasks. Yeah, he's playing... Bro, this guy's playing an RPG. More work, my lord?
Really well.
Oh my god! Working on a discrimination lawsuit. Like a discrimination lawsuit against Best Buy, his former employer. Oh my god! He has an 8-year-old that he had out of wedlock that's always lived nearby with his former, I guess his former girlfriend.
I was harassed in my parenting time with my child. That happened to me and not single female parents. I was fired, basically because I was a single male parent. I'm seeking almost $400,000. I reasonably that I'm not going to have to worry about a lot after that.
What do you say?
This is like a, dude, this is like the plot of like Trailer Park Boys season 3 or 4, right? All I need to do is sue this company. We're gonna make $400,000 and then I'm good. Like, look at this.
I'm seeking almost $400,000. I reasonably that I'm not going to have to worry about a lot after that.
That's it, I'm done.
People that are saying you're lazy, you're waiting around for this big windfall of money that you may not get.
I'm going to get it.
He's gonna get it. Eating a burrito.
You can get houses for $50,000, $60,000.
Yeah.
I could get a part-time job somewhere and make $24,000 a year and just live in that house.
Yeah.
What would you say to your parents right now?
Nothing.
They turned your life upside down.
There's really nothing I can say to them about that. I mean, there's really nothing like, hey, nuts to you. I don't think my relationship with my parents will ever really be mended.
Man.
Don't break anything. I get on my bike mostly. My parents stopped feeding me in like December, so I...
This guy's actually playing an RPG. He's just... Bro, like... He's playing an RPG. What is this? He's the main character.
In like December, so I've been, buying my own food, preparing my own food for a long time.
Yeah.
These 2 cups plum tomatoes. I'm gonna have to ask somebody about that. How many ounces are in a cup? I hate to ask you a stupid question, but you just take the bouillons and then they can just become like a cup of broth, right? I gotta do all my cooking in the bedroom.
What?
What does browning mean?
No.
8 to 10 minutes. Jeez, this is gonna take a while.
So he's leveling cooking. Oh my god. Dude, this guy's actually playing an RPG.
I know you're not supposed to. I'm gonna take the chicken, I'm gonna put it back on the same surface of the uncooked chicken.
Oh no.
Are the windows open here?
That's a health loss.
All I need is a can opener.
What are you gonna do about that?
Fern, can I borrow a can opener? I don't have a chef's knife. Thank you, Fern.
You're welcome.
It doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be edible.
I think she likes him. Yeah, this is insane. Oh my god. How is this guy he's doing everything wrong, and somehow it's like, is it gonna smell like onions tonight? How does this happen? He's failing. It's like an anime, yes. This is amazing.
Smell like onions in here tonight?
Yeah. I love onions, though.
Wow.
There it is. The rice is overcooked, but that's all right. The Airbnb's daughter has a deal. For $5, she'll do your laundry, but you won't fold it. I am where I am right now because of Best Buy. Because they fired me and they failed to promote me. That I'm a victim of discrimination.
True. So true. No.
If that hadn't happened, I would have a really good job with them as like an assistant manager. I could have made them a lot of money.
This is incredible.
I could have made them a lot of money. Did you get a shot of that snot fired out of my nose?
No.
I'm gonna be honest. I like him. I want him to win. I do. I do. I like him. Reminds. Yeah. This is. Oh man. Oh.
Good. My business is business to business IT. I'm not really growing that. The media attention has hurt my business. I had a big job, I guess, with a client. And
oh my god.
After the news broke, I could not get them to respond to my emails.
I wonder why.
I'm not afraid of my future. Everything's gonna work out.
Wait, what?
I'm not afraid of my future.
Wait, that's a. That's what I thought it was. As I said, man, this guy is living in the year 1100. This is insane. He's actually in an RPG. Like, this is.
It's gonna work out. Most men can know.
The chicken got away.
Alex Jones show. And
here's $3,000.
Valedictorian ordered to not thank Jesus during graduations. Wait, he was valedictorian.
My friend, showed that you can hopefully get on your own feet.
What?
He offered for me to be a reporter for the show.
How come you don't pursue that?
Because I'm not a film. I'm not a. It's a totally different industry. Because
your own feet.
What?
He offered for me to be a reporter for the show.
How come you don't pursue that?
Because I'm not a film. I'm not a. It's a totally different industry. I mean, yeah, it's you know, it's money, but like I'm doing all right.
So Alex Jones offered him a job at InfoWars. Yep.
Money from the Alex Jones appearance can keep me above water until the Best Buy lawsuit.
It's $3,000.
Weeks?
Months.
He's gonna live on $3,000 for months.
He stay as long as he wants?
I guess Michael and I will talk about that.
Yeah.
This is amazing. What amazes me is the most is knowing this guy actually got laid at some point. This guy's a master at manipulating the media to get free publicity. My parents stopped feeding me. A grown man actually said that. Update 3 years later. He lost to Best Buy. They showed documents of Michael being late, not showing up to work, giving customers the wrong discounts, and failing to meet sales quotas. He also had his child support increased from $26 a week to $56 a week and called the increase outrageous. Can we get this guy a Galaxy? $6 a week. Also had his child support increased from $26 a week to $56 a week and called the increase outrageous. Can we get this guy a Galaxy? Yeah. I'm sure he's still doing it. Yes. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, I need an update to this. Somebody needs to get me, guys, I want to know what's happened. All of these are from a few years ago. We need an update. He could be a millionaire by now. Easily could be a millionaire by now. Should hire him? I don't know, but that's not, he doesn't work in that industry. He doesn't, like, that wouldn't work. Yeah, he couldn't do, like, he wouldn't be able to, yeah, which is, I mean, he just would not be able to, like, I mean, it just wouldn't, like, I mean, there's just, like, two, like, it just wouldn't work, right? It wouldn't, yeah, it just wouldn't, like, I mean, he would, right? But, like, he just can't. I mean, it's just not, like.
My dad just called me and said that I owe $480 for my tax return because apparently if I just had $10 more taken out of my check every single week, then I wouldn't owe anything at all. And I said, what?
Surprise.
What? I owe money for working? I owe money for working because, yeah. And also, Dad, that sounds like a scam. You are telling me that if only $10 more every week came out, then I wouldn't owe the $480? How was I supposed to know that? First of all, how am I supposed to know that? Second of all, how do I control that? And why is that a thing? How do you tell your employer, oh, take $10 more out of my paycheck every week so that I don't owe money when my tax return is done? What? What?
Man. Welcome to reality, kid. Yep, that's right. They don't teach it in school. Yeah, but I bet she knows what the powerhouse of a cell is.
This is strange. This is strange.
Something ain't right, and damn it, it's time that we find out.
At this point, paying taxes is like a rite of passage into adulthood. You truly don't understand anything about the world until you have to pay bills and pay taxes. It's funny because I got a younger sister that's in Gen Z, and she was all for raising taxes, free health care, student loan forgiveness, and as soon as she seen that money taking out her first check, that opinion started to change.
That's what happened too whenever they had the COVID stimulus money. Is that everybody was gung-ho, oh, let's give these people money, let's let them, you know, let's make it to where they don't have to struggle, like, oh, well, we don't want to let that happen to them. And then whenever Taco Bell was closed, people are like, listen, hey, yo, you're gonna have to work, all right? But I didn't mean it like that. Like, you gotta, look, man, we can't just be giving you money. Like, you gotta work. Remember that?
Explain to her, the more money you make, the more money is gonna be taken out. And out of that money that's taken out, almost none of it's going to what you want it to go to. That's right. In fact, some of it's going to an entirely different country because our government's proved to be incompetent.
Thank God.
She got a better understanding of what it means.
Thank God. I tell you one fucking fact. Is that you think that's not what's going to happen? You think the money's not going to other countries? Then tell me why the highest tier of detectory of the tank is one from Israel in War Thunder. Why is it that the highest, most advanced tech tree in War Thunder, the tank is from Israel? Ain't that crazy?
Being American. Yeah, socialism is an easier concept to stomach when you're a kid and you're used to your parents just giving you free stuff. But as soon as you got to start working for that stuff, you understand the actual value of it. This is a real example of taxes.
Damn.
Taxes. How much do I owe? You get to figure that out.
Right.
Can I just pay what I want? No, we know exactly how much you owe, but you have to guess the number too. But what if I guess wrong? Jail.
I can't eat!
Oh.
I'm broke, nigga! I'm broke! I don't think there's any...
By the way, you usually don't go to jail if you fuck up your taxes. I fucked up my taxes before. I didn't go to jail. They just send you a letter. They say you need to pay the rest of the money. Yeah, you only go to jail if you do it on purpose. You do it a lot. Like that's really what it is. Like you're trying to like obscure payments. You just pay more. Yeah, you just pay a fine and penalties.
Anything wrong with adults living with their parents.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand. Right now, the average amount of money you have to make in order to live by yourself is $60,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid $30 an hour. Come here, and that is just to cover
Jesus Christ.
Rent. That's not including furniture. That's not including other bills. That's not including car issues, right? If you were to put all that together, you have to make about $75,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid over $35 or $40 an hour.
Taxes.
So if you know somebody that is making you feel bad because you live at home with their parents, unless they are making $40 an hour at their job, they're definitely lying to you about their living situation. They either live in a closet or they have 4 roommates. There's nothing wrong with staying with your parents right now, because at this moment in time, the new generation, they can't save any money.
Well, this is only going to get worse. I remember whenever I was like 21 and 22, this is the same thing that was happening. Like, because that was like in the midst of the recession that we had back then. That was like a little bonus recession. Yeah, it was the same exact thing.
Thing going up is the cost of things, not the actual payment towards their lives.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
Yeah, I don't care what nobody say. If you blessed to have parents that love you, there's absolutely nothing wrong with staying home until you're ready to leave.
Obviously
I've
not.
seen people leave home prematurely for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's because of dysfunction, but usually it's just because they don't want to live under their parents' rules. And to be honest, what usually happens is they go and get an apartment, and since they got to pay the rent for the apartment, they go and get a low-wage job because they don't have any job experience because they rushed themselves out of the house, and they end up spending more time at the job than they do enjoying the freedom away from their parents. And then it just becomes a cycle because those low-wage jobs are only going to pay you so much. So if you got parents, that's a huge advantage. Stay home until you're ready. I have a buddy that's 27 years old. He owns an entire moving company, but he still lives with his parents.
Man.
With his 27 years old, he owns it. Stay home until you're ready. I have a buddy that's 27 years old. He owns an entire moving company, but he still lives with his parents.
Man, imagine that.
By the time he leaves, he's going to be able to put a 50% down payment on whatever house he wants.
Tell him to bring me my money.
What's going on here at the migrant crisis? What do people think about the migrants here inside Chicago?
On some real shit, I think they need to go on back where they at, Joe. We ain't got enough room for
the... True, brother. Oh my God.
Right now.
Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it.
And where should they go?
Shit. Somewhere.
Shit. I just love this. It's so good. Just telling it how it is. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah. Shit. This is so fucking funny.
But you didn't have to say it.
And where should they go?
Shit. Somewhere where's room for them at. Either if it's back to where they at or another little city. But Chicago, Tupac, man, we already got a lot going on.
What do you think about them giving them free hotels, free phones?
That's what I'm saying. They treating them better than real residents. Like, they giving them shit that they ain't give us.
Damn.
And we born and raised in Chicago. They come here giving them 15.
It used to be they were taking our jobs. Now it's we got no houses left. Yeah.
3,000 in their name, a GM link, all type of shit. I'm damn. But you got homeless people sleeping on the street. You know, they fucked up, but y'all bringing people in and treating them better than motherfuckers who from Chicago. I don't like that, though.
What's your direct message to Mayor Johnson, then?
Man, fix this Get this shit together, bro.
Man. Fix this shit, yeah. Like, it's not his job to know what to do. Solid message? Yeah, he's right.
Help the city. Don't just be all talk. You talk that talk to get in there, live it. Stand on business.
Yeah, allowing immigrants to...
Bro, this must be his first election that he's been paying attention to. You know, like, damn. So, like, the dude got in there. He said he was going to do something that didn't happen. Oh, man. First time, huh? Oh.
Come in and then giving them more benefits than Americans that have been paying taxes their entire lives is just crazy to me. I'm not sure what the game plan is. I'm not sure if it's for cheap labor. I'm not sure if it's to stabilize the population because we're at a declining birth rate. I was actually talking to my wife about this recently, and this might sound a little bit pessimistic, but this is kind of what I'm starting
I think we have a declining birth rate because people don't want to have kids because they can't afford it. That's the reason. It's not really that complicated. Like most of the time whenever I see people that are like, oh yeah, we decided not to have kids, or like we're not having kids, the main reason why is because they're focusing on their career, or it's either a direct or an indirect reason that's related to money. Because people mainly focus on their career so they can make money and feel more financially stable. So, like, it's not really that you're career focused, it's that you feel like you need to be career focused in order to have stability for a family. So, like, you see it, yeah, daycare costs, is a bunch of other shit, right? There's a lot. And so a lot of them, like, I hear this and I see people talking about it, and it's because they simply don't have the money. They don't have the money. Kids cost a lot to be born? Yeah, exactly. I don't want my kids growing up in a dying climate on Earth. Yeah, for sure. But, like, I think that every single one of them, like, there's money is, like, a huge factor. Now, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of broke people that have kids, right? But I think that the problem is that the conscientious people, it's almost like, it's like an unironic idiocracy situation, right? Where the people that are the most financially illiterate and irresponsible are having the most kids because they don't understand it. Give me a second. My dad's calling me real quick. Yeah, what up?
Gary?
It's Zach. My dad thought I called the wrong person. I think his stream is lagging because he said the reason why people do it too is because they don't have the freedom to like go travel or go do anything. And I think that's also true. It's because also I think the reason for that though is like people that don't have the freedom to do that is because they weren't able to do that when they were young because they didn't have the money. I feel like one of the, like, if you look at, you know, like I've used this example, right, with like, you know, a lot of different ways to get to the number 4. I feel like the number 4 right now is money. And so like people want to travel because they weren't able to do that when they were younger because of money. People can't buy a house because of money. People want to advance their career because of money. Like, everything always goes back to money, I think. In almost all cases. Not all cases, but almost all.
Think. Maybe they're bringing in immigrants to help with production when it comes to manufacturing bullets or whatever we might need for World War III. Or maybe it's just so they can be soldiers in World War III. But either way, if you're the average American, you should be upset because Americans can hardly afford to eat, and we're giving our tax dollars to people that aren't even from here.
It's not going, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going, Nah, it ain't gonna work.
I literally just did my taxes and I owe money. I call my dad, I'm like, did I do this right? He's like, I don't know, maybe you should pay someone to do your taxes for you.
Yeah.
I said, does it sound like I'm in the position to be paying someone else to do my taxes when I already owe the government money? Oh my God. What is this scheme?
That's right.
God, are you there?
And if you don't do it, you go to jail. That's the way it is. Just buy more money. True.
It is me, Sarah. I hate being an adult.
You can't take responsibility.
Oh, bro. This guy will have like he'll have some person on the stream and he'll be like, so let me get this straight. You are in debt because you like buying old video game systems? And it's like, so you spent $3,000 a month on buying vintage video games and you don't have any money? Have you thought about not doing that? And they're like, yeah, I thought about buying PlayStations instead. It's like, basically, he brings on people that... It's like, these are people that don't know what 7 times 3 would be, right? The guy that has 3 cars, yeah, it's like, yeah, I bought a, I bought an $8,000 car. I pay $15,000 a month, or $1,500 a month on it, and it's a 36 month lease. You know?
The future is just not there.
152K in bad debt. That's a lot of money at 25, bro. Like, you gotta be like, that's impressive. I'm gonna be real. I think that's impressive that you racked up that much. That's like a high score. Really? Like, that's impressive, man. Holy.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about the worst case scenario.
What, bankruptcy?
Or kill yourself?
Yeah.
That'd be really...
Well, that'd be a good idea. You do that right away, because that way you put it on cooldown for 7 more years. You do it again. You gotta always be cheating, man. You gotta always be cheating. Yeah, be cheating, not pay the money, do whatever you can. Right? Yeah, exactly. He knows? Absolutely, yeah. Like, the thing is that this is who it really fucks over, right? Is it fucks over these, like, oh, I'm gonna do the good thing and I'm gonna do the right way. Bro. Like, you think the people that wrote the rules are doing that? You fuck no, man. And whenever you're in a circus, you better act like a clown. Like, you absolutely need to do that. Run up the money, spend the fucking money, write it off, say you're not gonna pay it. They send it to a debt collection agency. Then they can't legally garnish your wages anymore, depending on the state that you live in. Then eventually the debt collection agency reports it to the IRS as income for you. And then that year you just don't make any money, so you don't have to pay taxes on that money. You get a deferral for your taxes, and then you get that forgiven by the government. But you have to be cheating all the time. Like, always be cheating, man. ABC, always be doing whatever you can to get the money, because if you're not doing that, somebody else is going to do that. It's more common than you think. 10 people have over 100K in student loan debt. Yeah, I know a friend that has that. Yeah, Trump went bankrupt 4 times. Yeah, of course you had to do that. Yeah, you have to always be cheating, man. That's it. For legal reasons, this is a joke. Well, it's like you want to take out one credit card and then pay off another credit card and then just stop answering phone calls from both of them, but then make it to where, like, the amount is not high enough to where they try to seek legal repudiation, legal, proceedings from you. So you want to balance out, scam, 5 people for 10K rather than, 1 person for 50K. And then that way they can probably just write your debt off rather than, so then that's why you take out the extra credit cards and you do that as well. And then you have, let's see, what's some other things you gotta do? Stop with the how-to. Yeah, there's just a lot. Debtors hate this guy. Well, you just have to do. Student loan should be tax deductible. Well, all I'm six cards, rotation 5K. Exactly, yeah. And not financial advice? No, this is not financial advice. And Warren Buffett said the top 100 companies paid their taxes. No American would ever have to pay again. Yeah, but it's like people don't understand. It sounds easier to just get a job. Nah, bro, it's actually super easy to do this. Yeah, it's super, super easy. Always be cheating. Yeah, always be cheating. Do whatever you can to, save money. There would be other things that I would suggest, but, that probably would, legitimately get me in trouble. But, yeah, regularly take things, pay things off in, an amount. Pay things on, a payment plan. And then damage the product to where they can't get it back from you, and then stop paying for it, and that way you keep it. And they probably won't press charges unless it's really expensive. So then you only do it with cheap things, right? You always, bro, always be cheating, man. Always.
To go through at 25, but
especially with my card.
Because she's crying, she doesn't get it. She doesn't understand it.
What's kind of stopping me from going that route, because
you have 152,000.
That's a car loan for $16,000. This girl is stupid with money. She's stupid. use $16,000 for a car loan? Why you need to buy a car for $16,000? That's nuts. Like, that's too much for a car. Yeah, that's way too much for a car, man. Average car price is $46K. Yeah, it's an average, right? I'm talking about, like, bro, if you have no fucking money and you're 25, you are below average. Quit buying a car for and this is, by the way, this is the amount of money that's left. That's not counting down payment, money that's already been paid on this car. This could be like a $40,000 car. What are you doing? Yeah, drive a beater. Yeah, what are you doing? You being an idiot. My car's $3K paid up front. Yeah.
Some dollars.
To be fair, like, used cars have gone up a lot in price recently, right? Like, I don't know if they've started going back down again, but I probably not because of inflation, right?
Oh, $152,000. $152,027.
Damn.
In bad debt.
Yeah.
That is a number that just shouldn't even be considered.
Yeah.
As a number for someone in your age. That's like you having a mortgage or something.
Yeah, $125,000 of debt at the age of 25. You might as well go ahead.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, I think that you know who's at fault? You know who fucked up here? She 25. She fucked up, number one. Number two is the schools. How much you want to bet that she probably not that good at math? That she don't understand what percentages are and shit like that, right? It's the education system. Yeah, the parents also, nah. It's the school's job to teach the kids. Yeah, of course it's the parents too. But, like, I guarantee you, bro, like, she probably, like, what's 8% of 100? And this would be a problem. You know, like, what is compounding interest? This would be a problem. 17% of $80,000. This would be a problem. You see what I'm saying?
And file for bankruptcy. At least she's single with no kids. It's probably the best time to do it. Two of my buddies live together in their early 20s. And when I say buddies, I mean guys that I've known since I was 14 years old.
Right.
There's only 4 of these people on the planet. I don't use the word friend